Hey guys, it's Faye, and this is my guide for the build I'll be using to start off the new Legacy Path of Exile League, the Blaider. A crit Frostblades Raider Ranger. Say that 5 times fast. I'm sure you'll have a great time. Anyways, I apologize that this video is more of a planning video since 2.6 isn't out yet with its changes, so I have no gameplay footage yet. Usually, I start leagues with a spellcaster of some kind, but the changes to the leech nodes and the weapon elemental nodes, the arranger and shadow, in addition to craving playing the skill for like the past couple leagues and never getting around to it, and it was just okay. It was there. It's the other blade skills were just like, I guess you're there. Whatever. But with the changes in 2.6, Frostblades is like,
years I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
Frostblades also gained some major improvements from not having name locking anymore, a huge buff from 40 to 60% physical to cold damage conversion in 2.6, and a ton of passive tree buffs that benefit the skill through weapon elemental damage, claw nodes, and conversion nodes. We can now easily convert Frostblades 100% to cold using 2 passive nodes, and it's a pretty substantial increase in DPS. I'm going to use 2 Touch of Anguish unique Imperial Claws for the build, since I'll be in Standard Legacy. Even so, Thousand Teeth Temu got a really nice buff, and I'd recommend using this shield if you're going to play Hardcore Legacy, or if you want more survivability in Standard Legacy. If you decide to use Temu, the buff in 2.6 is that 10% of damage reflected is gained as life. That's way better than it previously was, so it's definitely an option if you don't feel comfortable dual-wielding Touch of Anguish claws. Keep in mind, however, that you're going to lose a chain from doing this, and that's where a lot of your DPS loss is coming from. Anyways, Touch of Anguish was just about made for Frostblades. The extra chains are great, the crit chance is really nice, and while there are some minor downsides, they're just that minor. Touch of Anguish should be cheap, but this league, I think it's probably going to go up in price. The amulet slot for this build uses Tool's Amulet, the Halcyon, which can be upgraded into the Pandemonious. The 20% pen on the Pandemonious is a major DPS increase. If you can't afford the item because of currency or needing non-dex attributes in life, just use a decent rare crit amulet until you can make it work. While you could use a Lightning Coil or Kintsugi, I'm opting to use the Snowblind Grace and upgrade it to the Perfect Form. It's a chest that was introduced last league and is available from Tool's domain, and you upgrade it to the Perfect Form using a Blessing of Tool. It's great defensively, but you'll have to cover up that negative cold resist from the Perfect Form, which should be a breeze by the time you're able to get one. Most importantly, it allows you to have Arctic Armor active at no reservation cost. I'm personally planning on using Hatred once Arctic Armor no longer needs to reserve mana. Not only that, you get Phase Acrobatics for free. This saves you 4 points in the passive tree, and that's pretty nice. Lastly, there's Darkray Vectors, which also received a buff in 2.6 that makes the Frenzy Charge duration penalty a bit more forgiving. And of course, Rat's Nest, it's a crit build. It's an evasion crit build even, just get it. If you want to live on the edge, try using Abyssus. It's a massive DPS increase at a huge survivability hit. One shots or bust? You'll need to get some accuracy on your gear for later levels. You shouldn't need too much, but a little bit is needed. This is pretty much all you need to get optimal and for hopefully a low price. Really, the only 2 absolutely required items to start are 2 Touch of Anguish Claws, or 1 Touch of Anguish and a Thousand Teeth Temu Shield, for later. However, this build has something essential for a good league starter, and that's the option to continue improving it with pricey gear. Some items you'll want to save for and or drool at are the Taste of Hate, which are a few exalts, usually, Vessel of Vinctor for even better leech, and the unique Breach Jewel, the Green Dream / Nightmare, available as an expensive Cheola drop, and it's upgraded using a Blessing of Cheola that also commands a high price. I didn't build for the Green Nightmare, but you can swap around a few points to make sure it's used to its full potential if you decide to go that route. Alright, it's Ascendancy time. A lot of people tend to go for Deadeye for the extra benefits available there for Frostblades. It's definitely not a wrong or even a bad choice, I just prefer Raider. I think it's probably my favorite Ranger Ascendancy class, and with nodes like Avatar of the Veil available, it's not hard to see why. As a Raider, I am planning to first get Quartz Infusion from Normal Lab, and then Avatar of the Veil from Cruel Lab. This node is simply fantastic for survivability, and it even has a bit of damage, so it's something I would get as soon as possible. Since the build is very focused around frenzy charges, the next logical step is grabbing Wave the Poacher from Merc Lab, and finally Avatar of the Slaughter from Uber Lab. So how does the build play? What should you do? You eventually get Touch of Anguish Claws, or just one. You use Frostblades. You'll have it chain a couple times if you're using the 2 claws. And the projectiles from the attack will just mow mobs down. Me and my friend Kajak, who helped out with this build a lot, were discussing how are we going to do bosses though, because he has played Frostblades before, and bossing could be a bit of a pain sometimes. So he reminded me of something really great, and that's Frostbomb. And that should help out single target damage because it pulses out a degen, so the bosses will be even weaker to Frostblades. Next up, I'm going to go into Path of Building and show you guys the build and what kind of DPS you can expect. It's nice to be able to see an output on a 5-link, a 6-link, with or without cooldowns, etc. The passive tree in 2.6 receives some nice buffs for this sort of build. Leech is now not just physical attack damage, but any damage caused by an attack from the Blood Drinker notable. Meaning elemental damage from an attack also counts towards Leech. In addition to the Blood Drinker change, the Claw Leech node, Soul Raker, got a generally pretty juicy buff. Take a look at that. Look at that freaking attack damage leech on one node. It's a little stupid. And that last part, I like it. It's stupid and I like it. So the best parts here are the relocations and the linking of the passive clusters. So first off, we have these 2 little dippers here, and those are the Claws of Pride and the Forces of Nature notables, little clusters, and they give some claw damage right up here. So we have claw damage, we get crit from it, we get accuracy, which is going to help us out a lot because there's not a lot of effective nodes for us to pick that up. And Forces of Nature here, it's a really nice elemental weapon damage cluster. I mean, look at this. You even get damage pen, and since I'm converting 100% of Frostblades to elemental, that penetration of elemental resistance is really, really good. Now I know what you're thinking, Faye? Don't you see Master of Force there? It's the 3rd dipper. No man, this is Satan's dipper, not in a good way. Look at that. It's just some physical damage, which we could get that other places, right? But here's the thing. We don't need reduced reflection of physical damage because we're converting all of that. We don't need it. Forget it. It's elemental damage now. Alright guys, so next up is the Claw Wheel, which I actually made a mistake. I thought these 4 nodes weren't that good, but they increased my DPS by another 1 to 2k, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it. I don't even care. Attack speed? Hell yeah. We want to attack more. Let's just go ahead and do that. Look at that. Alright. Now we're at 199k. Almost 200. Very good. And that's all good. These all got buffed a little bit. Attack speed and all that. Sure. Not sure on the claw damage and charge duration, but that's great because we're a frenzy charge build. Gotcha. Soul Raker I already mentioned. It's freaking amazing. You don't even need any other mana leech nodes. According to my friend, which helped me plan this build, which is Kajak Focon, you should check that guy out. He was always liked these hipster skills, and he's just such a cool dude. But here we go. Here's the big change. Look at all this crit. They just put the crit and the multiplier for claws right in the wheel. This used to be shitty damage and attack speed nodes. Like these, but worse. Look at this. Take it. You'll love it. Trust me. Alright guys, so next up, let's scroll on down to... Oh! What's this? The new weapon elemental damage cluster that you've probably heard so much about. Yeah, we're getting it. It's done. It's a done deal. Look at this. We can't freeze with our crits because of Touch of Anguish. However, that doesn't stop the crits from using a flat chance to freeze percent, so it can still work. Look at this though. Primeval Force. Look at this. It's beautiful. It helps with our reflect entirely because it's 100% conversion. Damage with weapons penetrates elemental resist. 20% increased elemental damage while using a flask. We can do that. We have cooldown flasks, so it's all good. Now, how am I converting 100% of Frost Blades? Because it's only 60% now by default, buffed up from 40. Here we go. The next part, this is really important. Right here is the Winter Spirit, and on the way, weapon cold damage. So you get your 20% from there, and more weapon elemental damage for cold. And guess what else? There you go. That's the rest of it, and more weapon elemental damage. As kind of a utility thing, me and K-Jack, we kind of decided that Flash Freeze is just really good for the projectile speed and the cold damage, so you can get a little bit more clear speed. It's not something you have to take, but I think it'll be helpful. Alright, so next step, let's go ahead and grab these keystones here. Fall Pact, of course. I mean, if you can leech, leech. Even on a life build, just leech. Just go. Fall Pact, it's great. You know that, hopefully, unless you're new. But here's the next big thing. So I'm just grabbing acrobatics, which, yeah. Why don't I have phase acrobatics? It's on the perfect form, so I don't have to. And these nodes, I feel, when you're in Raider, not really worth it. Just this, what we have here, about 10% dodge. I just don't think it's worth 3 points for that. So you save 4 points on your build with the perfect form. Really nice stuff. The rest of the tree is super standard. I mean, we're getting as many frenzy charges as we can. We're getting crit. We're getting crit multi. Chance, we're getting life, all that good stuff, just pathing down with our, well, I'm not even using the brand new thick skin connection, I don't think, so it's whatever. This is the most efficient, and we're going right into Duelist. We're getting Golden's Blood because it's just really efficient for flat life, even though we can't regenerate life. Cruise on through, of course, the Bravery, and get up into that juicy Scion life rectangle, because why not? As a quick note here, my bandits are also listed right here if you couldn't see them. Normal, we go for Oak because we're a life build. Cruel, get that passive point because we already have max frenzy charges pretty much all the time and attack speed from the tree. I don't see you needing it. And of course, in Merciless, we're going for Creighton for that last frenzy charge. Really good stuff. So, the DPS, if you notice, the total DPS it's listing is about 199k, which is alright. I mean, for me, anything over like 100k is great because I don't really play meta anymore. It's just something I'm kind of over. But here's my items. I gave myself a bunch of crappy stuff. I mean, look. Yeah, it has 4 to 6 fizz to attacks, a couple resist, some global crit strike chance, but that doesn't really help what I'm trying to do here. And some crappy gripped gloves I gave myself. I was like, whoa, you can get 4% attack speed on your gloves. Look at this. But that's basically what I did. I got the basic uniques that I would recommend for the build that you have, nothing too pricey. You can even take off the Pandemonium, which is probably the most expensive basic unique, so let's go ahead and do that. You're still decent. I mean, it's not the best, but that's wearing no amulet. So let's go ahead and put on Carnage Heart. That might be, if it's still where it is in the drop table, even with the buff, let's put that up. Decent. But Pandemonius is just really good for DPS. I mean, it's going to be hard to use because of attributes in life, but that's just the way it goes. So, with Jewels real quick, I gave myself this kind of mediocre jewel. Those aren't the highest rolls on either of those, nor are they the most efficient stats to get on your jewel. Now watch this. It's a rare jewel, but just ignore it. It's simming a magic jewel that's a critical strike multiplier with one-handed melee weapons, which is a claw. So let's go ahead and do that. That is your most efficient stat. Even if it's just a magic one, look at that. It's great, and I think that's the max roll, but you get the point. And I don't have 2 other jewels because I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I could sit here and stroke the DPS and feel good about myself, but I don't really feel like it. And these are average rolled uniques. Okay, so more importantly here, I have things turned off, obviously. I have the flask turned off, and so it's not configuring that we're always using a flask right now. So let's go ahead and activate that because of the new weapon elemental damage in the bottom right. Alright, that's a little bit. That's cool. Alright, let's go ahead and say that, let's go ahead here, that Vol Lightning Trap is up. Oh, okay. On a boss, if it's a boss that doesn't take away your Vol skill charges, let's just go ahead and increase our DPS by 100k. Why the hell not? Though, here we go. We'll put it to a boss. I forgot to do that real quick. 142. It's still a decent amount. That's fine. So let's go ahead and show it without a boss first. We're gonna put the cooldowns up, which I have them all turned off because I wanted to show it without it. So we're gonna put on Vol Lightning Trap right here. We're gonna put on Vol Haste, and it's looking pretty good. And this is just on a 5 link. This is not a 6 link. It's still pretty good. So let's go ahead and get the flask in there too. A Taste of Hate and Adziri's Promise. Looking pretty nice. So let's go ahead and take those back off. And let's go ahead and switch to a 6 link without the cooldown stuff up. So I'll go ahead and switch that real quick. Forgot to put as the enemy shocked, but you get the point. It's just really good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn all that stuff off. Vol Lightning Trap and Vol Haste off. Out of here. Frostbomb obviously on bosses helps a lot too, but out of here. We're gonna turn on that 6 link. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Really good. Like, it's just amazing how much cold pen adds. It's even more amazing how much added cold damage adds. Take a look at this. It's pretty good. It's about 100k DPS. So basically, if you want to stroke your ego or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and set it up so we're facing a boss, because bossing is what it's all about. We're going to say the enemy is shocked, and we have all of our skills up, all of our Vol skills, because we're so cool. And we have Frostbomb to make sure that the resists are down even more. Let's go ahead and enable it all. We have a 6 link. We're at the end of the game, baby! Alright. Here you go. I think I have everything correct here. Yeah. So that's it. 6 link, freaking not even qualityed Frostplates. Nothing is quality on this build, and I'm getting like 466k DPS against a freaking boss, I believe. Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and change that to a Shaper or Guardian. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. I would say it's pretty good. That's it for Path of Building. Next up, let's cover up the skills and the links. The links for Frostblades are pretty standard, but I'm opting to use Hypothermia as a support to counteract Touch of Anguish's downside, which is the removal of critical strikes always freezing enemies. Chance to freeze in general still works, even on crits, so this is really nice. It doesn't hurt that it also has a more damage multiplier against chilled enemies, which, trust me, I think everything's going to be pretty chill. Added cold damage adds a ton of DPS. It needs to be in the 4 link, for sure. It's better than Hypothermia in the 4 link. The third gem you'll get while leveling is Weapon Elemental damage. It obviously contributes a lot to the build. Hypothermia should be your 5th, however, followed by Cold Pen as a 6th link if you get a 6th link perfect form, which hey, you can do it, I believe in you. I'm gonna do it. Let's do it, let's get 6th link perfect forms. I talked about Frostbomb earlier, and that's something I'm planning to use with bossing. It should be alright, and its pulsing G-Gen should make it so the bosses melt, freeze melt, die much more easily. For a cursing setup, I plan on running Herald of Ice with Curse on Hit, Assassin's Mark to gain my power charges. Aura-wise, the build runs Herald of Ice, Arctic Armor, and Hatred. Hatred can only be used once you get the perfect form for free Arctic Armor, otherwise you have 100% reserved mana and you just can't. For my movement skill, I'm using the standard Whirling Blades, Faster Attacks, Fortify setup. It's just really great. As always, I swear by cast when damage taken, and on that setup I have that, Immortal Call, Increased Duration, and Ice Golem because I'm a lazy person who doesn't like to manually cast Ice Golem. I split the gems up into 2 utility setups, so Hatred wouldn't cost more mana reservation for increased AoE. I put increased AoE and duration on Vol Lightning Trap and Frostbomb, even though the AoE is only going to affect Frostbomb. I think it will be useful to have Frostbomb emitting debuff pulses longer before detonating. The actual debuffs aren't affected by duration, only the application pulses. The second utility setup consists of Vol Haste, Hatred, and Increased Duration. If you want to, you can use Blood Rage in order to generate frenzy charges in a pinch, but I chose not to because I think I'm going to be able to get by without it, and I didn't have any room left. Alright guys, so we're near the end of the build video, and GGG just released info on some of those remaining threshold jewels. Guess what? Frostblade's got one. It did indeed. Fight for survival, cold damage, gotta have 40 dexterity available in the radius, it doesn't have to be allocated, and we get even more damage pen, which obviously benefits us greatly since we're 100% conversion, and we get some more projectile speed on top of that to help with clear speed. Yeah, we're gonna use 2 of these. I might shuffle around the passive tree a little bit, but if I do, just keep updated on the Google Doc. While leveling, you can immediately start off using Frostblades. Just get a compatible white magic rare weapon from Lioneye's Watch. Add support gems as you go. You can use gems like faster attacks until you get to the later level ones like Multi-Strike. Added cold damage ends up being one of the best gems in the 4-link. Your 4-link will be Frostblades, weapon elemental damage, added cold damage, and Multi-Strike. If you can early on in the league, grab some leveling uniques. There's Uar's Mirage, that rapier, the crazy rapier with the offhand and main hand effect that's good for Frostblades early on. Colton Halt, that lovely shield got a buff of some type. Grim Sorrow, I think, got buffed. The usual gloves, you're like, ew, those dropped? And then there's Wormsmolt and Prism Weave Belt. Prism Weave got buffed, and the Career Ward Amulet for leveling, in addition to anything else you might want to use. Overall, at endgame, this build should be capable of clearing whatever content you want it to do. For a life evasion build, it should be pretty survivable, and the DPS is nothing to sneeze at, even on a 5-link with crappy gear in a lot of the slots. I have information about the build and a link to the passive tree in a Google document below for easy reference, and also timestamps to each part of the guide in the description below. If you have any questions about the build, feel free to ask. I'm learning about it as I go too. If you're new to the channel, please consider checking out some of my other content. If this video helped you, smashing those like and sub buttons helps me out a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck, stay safe, and have fun in Legacy.